What were we saying about beta?
So, hey, one thing you guys need to know, beta pre-orders, right? So we're now about, what, three and a half weeks away from them being done?
End of March / April 1st.
Yeah, so you have until March 31st to get those pre-orders in. So beta is the way to get the first set if you miss the Kickstarter. That's right. The easiest way to think about it. It's all the same cards, slightly different in some ways. I think there's some tiny improvements along the way. Do you know if the art is all the same?
I think it is, but I will say that there's a lot of caginess, intentionally, I think, from Eric and team about the curios.
Mm-hmm.
So curios in alpha are very unique, interesting, very limited cards that will just show up in the boxes sometimes. And there's like no information about them. How many there are, what the
Good
odds
for
are.
him, man.
All that kind of stuff, which I love.
Yeah.
But they have confirmed that there will be curios in beta. What they have not specifically, upon being asked, confirmed is that it will be the same curios that are in alpha.
Okay.
So otherwise, I think that's the primary. If there is going to be any difference, there might be some differences in the curio department. And what that means, I don't know. It's all very mysterious. I was like, it's not dubious, but
yeah, it's all very mysterious.
It's all very mysterious.
Cool.
Which I
like embrace it. But it's simply put, beta is the booster boxes that we're pre-ordering on our website. We're currently the only people doing that. We do expect that there will be more people with beta available at like retail. I think it's going to try to go through standard distribution, but of course we can't guarantee that. Only Eric knows that, even if Eric knows that right now, and team. So this is the way to do it right now if you're just wanting to make sure that you get beta because you missed the Kickstarter and you want the first set. Or, some people, they got some Kickstarter boxes. They say alpha is too expensive, it's too valuable, I want to put it in the vault or whatever. And so they might buy beta to play with and then hold on to their alpha. If you're the investor type, that's a fine way to go too. So that's available on our website right now. Those are going to go until March 31st. I'm going to shut that off early on April 1st, maybe 12:01 a.m., I think is the idea. So just know that that's currently happening. If you like what you see here on the table, if you want to get in and you're like, oh no, I missed the Kickstarter, that is the way to do it. You can find that on our website. And if you can't find it, let me know because I have failed.
And each box of beta that's pre-ordered will come with, in my hand right now I have the standard lightning bolt, but there's an alt-art lightning bolt that is
exclusively available.
Killer. And have you seen the videos going up of the foils?
Yeah, I'm ready to see them in person because everything I see in like a digital medium, like a video or something, I know that it's half.
Yeah, because like the foil, there were some videos going up of the foils, and it was like the names and the stats, and then the subtype box, and then like a border around the box is like almost like a cold foil.
Yeah.
And the rest is also very like crazily high level done foiling on the actual card. So I've been debating how many beta boxes I want. And honestly, I bought enough alpha that I don't feel like I need more product, but I'm still like,
maybe.
I mean, I think, what am I going to do? Not have a playset of that lightning bolt? I don't think so.
You're going to get 4 boxes is what you're going to do, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Seeing that in actual in-person foil is going to be, I think it's going to be killer.
My hands are off the wheel at this point. I'm in full faith of Eric's and Eric Curiosa just to do whatever they want. I'm in for it. Just before you're asking, as far as the international distribution, so we worked with Eric and partnered with Eric to get the pre-order for beta on our website. And obviously that's going to be better for US customers because we're based in the US. We do ship worldwide, but it can be expensive, so fair. As far as what the plans are for UK, EU distribution or international distribution at all, but that is not anything that we're privy to whatsoever. We don't have strategy sessions with Eric about how the international distribution should go. We just wanted to make sure that our customers and people who are engaging with us had a way to get this. Eric agreed, and there were some additional things that we could offer, like helping to gauge some demand and kind of get an idea of what's the marketplace fervor for this. Like also the a great majority of the Kickstarter was US folks, I believe. So hitting that market and making sure that at least gets on the ground, and then working to get the international community going as well, I think is a reasonable thing for them to focus on.
And I will say, getting distribution set up, even in the United States, for a small publisher is a difficult and challenging road, let alone international distribution. Even Flesh and Blood, which was very successful after that third set came out, is just now getting to the point where they're doing simultaneous global multi-country.
Yeah, they just got Japan going, didn't they?
Yeah, release. So that's
Takes a while, doesn't it?
That's a challenging road, especially for smaller publishers to walk down.
Evan Gassman, good question. Is the only product available for pre-order the beta booster box? From us right now, yes, that is correct. There are no plans to reprint the starters you're playing with today. These are alpha precons. I don't believe the alphas will ever be reprinted. Correct me if I'm wrong, Collector Zach. But there may well be beta precons. There may well be a thing called revised, which we actually don't know anything about. And there may be precons of some other nature. I think the pre-constructed decks should and will be available unless there's just a complete misunderstanding of how a game works.
So from my understanding, and this is based on what I've read in the Sorcery Discord channel from people that at least present themselves as official, is that there will be beta starters, that there's an interest in ensuring that beta starters are available. Starters at all points are available. So if you're just wanting to pick up starters, that'll be a lot easier. That'll be easier to do closer to. And part of the reason is that I think fundamentally printing starters versus randomized collectible booster boxes is significantly easier and cheaper. So I'm not overly concerned about people's ability to get starter materials, but
right now we don't have them for pre-order. You can't lock them in. You can't pre-order them anywhere currently. Have we asked about that? Absolutely.
You betcha.
So if that does become a reality, we will send out an email and let everybody know, get on video and say, hey, we have these precons available.
What kind of sleeves are those?
Those are my top 4 flesh and blood
look at that.
Soraya sleeves.
Look at this
right
guy
there.
flexing.
I'm just good at games, Zach. So,
yeah, he's got.
So I hit the top 4, and I don't want to ask how you did at that event, but
I had a good time. You cannot lose if your objective is to have a good time.
Boom. TK asking, May to June as per the TC website, still the expected release on beta? Yes, that is still our expectation.
And I meant to note that to you earlier. That's something I'm going to just double down on as well. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come on in,
Aaron,
man.
What's up,
Come
man?
on around
Thank
the corner.
You.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
It looks like a nice glass of tea.
It looks like my favorite drink.
Thank you.
This looks like an old fashioned.
Now I got word that the Ops boys were experimenting with dilution, like really heavily, and then it has made the cocktails way better. Because what's the number one way that a cocktail goes wrong? Under diluted.
What's dilution mean?
Adding water through the shaking or stirring process with ice.
Under diluted.
Yes.
It's like harsh at that point.
So you'll see people that'll shake like 3 or 4 times and then serve.
Oh, yeah.
But
mistake.
water is a critical element. Whenever you drink a good scotch, what are you supposed to do? Add some water, open it up, right? Yeah. A good whiskey, add some water. So cocktails need a lot of dilution. And until you really find the edge of an over-diluted cocktail, which is very hard to find, you're probably under-diluting. And so I know they've been on a real quest to perfect the art.
Cheers
so
to
here we go.
The quest for perfection.
Is this really this is an old fashioned?
It looks like an old fashioned. This is a
perfect day for you.
I know.
This is Covenant 3.0, Zach, in paradise.
It's just living peak life here. I think. We could be wrong.
So you said you're doubling down on the release date. Like, do you think it's going to get pushed back?
Well, I just want to. There have been a lot of questions.
I'll go grab another one and talk to the folks.
Around that, and just given what I know about print timelines and stuff, Sorcery's business is Sorcery's business and what they tell us, but especially before the pre-order window closes, just getting very clear on current expectations and what's been going on with alpha and stuff. So if there is any change in expectation, you'll hear from us. I don't expect that necessarily, but just that getting brought up, I just want to make sure that's what's happening.
We also had somebody ask if, we say no refunds after March 31st, and it's like, well, what if it's a year later and there's no product? So I don't know if we actually define this. I don't know if we've ever had to define this, but we've been in this situation many times in the past, like with the Deepgate novella and various subscriptions that will charge. And then Asmodee used to be really bad about delaying the release. And we just handle that in the most fair way that we can. So if it's going to be delayed and it's like 2 weeks, then it's like, okay, like let everybody know it's going to be 2 more weeks and we're good. If it's like it's going to be 4 months, then it's like you can stay in the queue, or if you want your money back, we'll refund you. So it's not like no refunds ever, which we should be more clear about. Yeah. But it's no refunds, assuming everything goes according to plan. And then as things get weirder, we will offer the opportunity for that, depending on the circumstance. You kind of just got to trust us on that. But there's enough proof out there from folks, you probably believe.
Historically, as it relates to subscriptions, we had a 90 days batch release.
Yeah.
Where if that happened, we would trigger now you can jump out of here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there was someone asking in the Ask Kevin, I remember this, what happens if it never shows up?
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, you're definitely going to get a refund.
Yeah.
There's no there's no question about that. But it is the kind of thing where this is a very unique situation, and I think we can better define it. So we'll look at that. But if we know, it's coming in 2 weeks, and there's some timelines, like maybe, and someone's asking to get out at that point, like we're a little late in the whole process for that. But yeah, if it is unreasonable, and again, not defined currently, which is a problem. But if it's unreasonable, the expectation would be that you'd have a chance to opt out down the line.
Yeah. And why is that, Zach? Well, let me tell you. Because there needs to be just more stability in this industry. And that's something we've talked to Eric about a lot, something we've talked to a lot of publishers about. Basically, if we're going into, 2 to 3 weeks before fulfillment of a pre-order, and half of the people want out of that pre-order, the publisher loses, we lose, and the game really loses, because that is a critical thing to have happen, where you're trusting in funds that have been spoken for. People say they want something, you print and do your business activities based on that demand, and then suddenly everybody wants out. Nothing can function like that. It just doesn't work, and that's why you see a lot of the dysfunction that you already see. Oh, we got some Tinder chat.
We got some spam in the house.
But that's why you see a lot of the dysfunction in this industry, because it does function like that. From the distribution retail pipeline, the numbers and the delivery windows are super tight, and everybody can back out, and nobody wants to commit up front to anything. So we just ask for stability up and down. We commit to Eric, you guys commit to us. We deliver on those commitments, and we just ask that everybody keep that commitment in mind.
Yeah, and that's honestly how we can guarantee that you're going to get your items. And if you aren't going to get your items, then of course that's where the refunds come in. But that's how we can guarantee that, and that's also how we can get things like the promo. Mm-hmm. Like there's a reason that's even possible, and it's because of those commitment levels. And that's tied as well to the after you get charged for a subscription, you're locked in, and that's not just random. Like,
yeah, right.
When we've charged, the reason that we lock that in is that we're making commitments based on those things. And if it was just kind of loosey-goosey, the system...
If it was loosey-goosey, it'd be exactly what it already is.
Yeah.
Which is allocations and, you don't get the boxes you ordered, or they canceled your pre-order, et cetera, et cetera.
Fan67 asking, will there be box toppers for the beta boxes? Not as far as I know, but if you pre-order through us before the end of March, you will be getting the Altart exclusive Lightning Bolt card with each box that you order.
Are the box toppers just for Kickstarter?
I think so.
Yeah, surely, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's part of why the Kickstarter production is so much more complicated, because they've got the boxes, you got to figure all the stuff out for the first time, and also they've got box toppers and pre-cons and play mats and all this stuff getting
extra
together.
Packs as well.
Yeah,
throwing in some stuff. Sorcery's player base is fundamentally limited by the number of avatars printed, so box topper avatar would be huge. I think also just getting a sense of when these additional, the pre-con should be flooding the world, right? Yeah. The moment you get these into people's hands, it's over. They're buying more Sorcery. So get as many of these down the retail chain, all the online retail pre-orders, anywhere you can go to your local chess clubs. They just need to be out in the world. So, and it's a beautiful product. It looks great. I think if these get out there, that's the best shot that Sorcery's got to really reach critical mass.
Here's some context. There's people concerned about that, given how rare the avatars are per box, and based on seeing a print run sheet or whatever. Oh yeah. Here's the dealio. It's so good. So good. It is actually better. Kudos to Ops, continuing to perfect that process. But here's the dealio. Let's say you print 5,000 precons for beta.
Okay.
Like the set of 4, right?
Right. Done.
I don't. This is not inside information. It's just fake math. 5,000 precons, and there's 4 avatars in each precon.
Okay.
So you have 20,000 avatars for beta precons.
Okay.
Fab, which I think is a very successful card game,
but notably awful at starter products.
Sure. Fab, which has a lot of of people playing the game. Currently, in the United States, I think just now crossed the 90-day window, people gaining XP, so playing in an actual event, equal to 20,000. So the reason I say that is, in terms of the scale and scope and size of that game, if even the beta precons have 20,000 avatars in them, let alone the booster boxes that have all the avatars, let alone the alpha and the alpha precons and all that stuff, if it actually ends up being the case that the ceiling is reached on players to precon ratios, that means that Sorcery is now the fourth probably biggest card game in the entire world, which is what we call a quality problem.
Yeah.
But the reason I say all that is, were it me, I would print precons. I would print a 2-player starter in just like the plastic wrap, or I'd just print. If that's actually a concern, you just print extra avatars of whatever, and make them promos, and it's
Send them to start. Yeah, you could do all sorts of stuff.
There's a lot of ways if that actually becomes a problem. I think they could print 10,000 copies of the Sorcerer, airship it, and get it out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if that is actually the problem. I think it'll be solved, and I don't really expect it to be a problem.
Yeah, and that's Evan makes a really good point that Fab did a great thing early on, and still technically does a great thing with those free IRA decks.
Yep.
The weird thing, though, is I was hearing from players in our Discord that store owners aren't able to order them.
Well, that is a problem.
But is that a distribution problem? Is that a Fab problem? Is that a retail store problem? I don't know. But the idea of getting those IRA decks out there to people was a big thing. That's how we started playing.
I mean, I think thousands of people tried the game in 2020.
Yeah.
2020? Yeah, that's right.
That's
2020.
it, I think. Yeah.
Through those free IRA decks. So I think that's very... If you're a publisher out there, it's great to print a little 2-player starter thing that's just wrapped in plastic. Print that to the moon and get that in as many... If your game is good, get that in as many people's hands as possible.
Yeah.
Dude,
alternatively, another way to do this is...
Also talk to us. Let's go.
Take the other route, right? Don't have these low to the ground, easy, free precons, and instead position your product around, all those other games, but this, when you're ready to really have an experience, this is what you buy. And you can also do it that way too.
Yeah. And just print enough to make sure you always have it.